Right, welcome to the very first episode of Desert Island Dickheads. And I'll tell you what this is. Is it a podcast?
Dunno.
Is it a blog?
A vlog?
A vlog? Is it or just a little show? Or a gathering? Anyway, basically what it is we get random people in off the street and they talk about their record collection and their musical journey. And tonight we have this geezer here. Who is he?
It's Brad Wray. He's from Wanstead. Well, that's where he lives now, and I know him because he's a local musician and a friend, I like to think.
Well,
Yeah.
I like to think so too.
And how old are you?
I'm 68.
Wow.
So
Looking good.
yeah,
And you're retired?
I'm a
I'll take
retired head teacher,
Whoa.
school teacher.
Ooh.
I've been retired longer than I was head teacher now, I think.
What's the betting I end up in detention before the night's out?
Yeah, you've got to be
Oh,
careful.
before we start, Mr. Brad Wray, you better read out the terms and
Terms and
conditions.
conditions, all right. So I, Brad Wray, promise to subscribe to your channel.
Yes.
I promise to leave a comment.
Ooh.
I promise to give a thumbs up. And I promise I will ring that notification bell.
Ding dong.
Ding dong.
Beautiful. Thank
Ding
you.
dong.
I don't know what all that means,
Uh,
but it's a nice bit of
It sounds like
pink
a bit legal jargon, doesn't it?
Well, we don't want any comebacks.
True.
So,
Yeah.
first question, Emma.
Right, so I've been given these questions here. Just a minute. So, Brad Wray, can you tell us your earliest musical memory?
I think the one that strikes me most is when I must have been about 10 or 11 and I was playing in the streets back when it was safe to play in the streets in East Ham where I grew up, and someone had their window open and they were playing the Beatles' Help album, and it was a track I should have known better came on, and it just made a light bulb go on in my head, and it was like that was the beginning of a lifelong appreciation and love of the Beatles, but actually music in general. I don't remember much before that. I mean, there would have been a few things off the telly or something like that I remember, but I would say that one.
Help. Help is still my favourite Beatles album.
It's rather good. It stands up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely
sort of-
pop songs. And I can remember my sister took me to see the film. Did you see the film?
I did see the film, and I think it was in '64.
Was it?
Came out, something like that, and I was on holiday in Ramsgate, and it was in colour. I remember.
Yes. Do you know the thing that sticks out for me in that film is where they all lived in the same house,
Yeah.
but they all went through separate front
Yeah,
doors.
yeah.
And I thought, wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I want that.
Years
I want
later,
that.
I actually lived that dream. Came down from the north
Yeah.
with a band, moved into the house. Sadly, we only had the one door, so we were never as good as the Beatles.
No, it was. I actually lived about 2 doors away from one of my best mates, Keith, and we kind of still joke about having a connecting sort of tunnel underneath. That would be really cool.
Nice memory. I'm
Lovely.
a bit younger than you, so
You are, I know.
A lot younger.
A lot younger.
I discovered the Beatles because my parents played it and my mum and my brother later. I don't want to rub it in. What was the first single you bought with your own money?
Well, this is. I'm pretty certain this is true, and because I no longer have the single. But the first single I think I bought was actually "Paranoid" by Black Sabbath. Oh, you got it! Oh,
There it is.
Absolutely.
I too bought Paranoid
Can I
by
see
Black
it?
Sabbath. We didn't need drugs, you know. Put that on and it went round. And soon you were away with the fairies. The fairies that wear boots, of course.
So, yeah, that was like a hypnotic
How does it
experience.
go?
Paranoid. Oh, it's very
Finished with
heavy.
my woman
Can
because
you-
she wouldn't let me.
Oh, don't
Something
say if
or
it's obscene.
No.
No,
I
it's-
actually thought it was obscene when I first
What
heard
did you
it.
like about that?
It was heavy music at a time when I think it was just beginning. So this would have been about 73, maybe 72, 73. Oh no, yeah, about 71 actually.
Yeah,
probably
71.
70s. So I'd have been about 15, something like that, 14, 15, and it kind of was different. It was like it was the beginning of that sort of sound that wasn't mainstream at all.
And am I right in thinking it was quite connected to folk rock?
No.
Has some similarities?
No,
Or did that come later?
No, not
Never,
no,
not with Black Sabbath.
This was heavy, doom-laden sort of gothic.
Doesn't sound like you, but then
They
I've
invented
only
heavy
known you a
metal.
little
I'm
while.
surprised. We could have bonded over.
Yeah, absolutely.
It reached number 4. The B-side's great as well. It's actually got a
What is the
harmonica on
B-side
it.
on it?
The B-side is
See?
The Wizard.
Folk rock,
Wizard.
harmonica.
Did you have long hair?
Yes, at that time.
And
Yeah.
did you headbang?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
My old man, did your old man ever walk into the bedroom and catch you halfway through? Because mine did about twice. And he said, "You're going to lose your hair doing that, you idiot." And he was right.
And it was.
And he also said, "You're going to shake what little brain you have loose, boy." And I obviously headbanged a lot more than you because you went on to become a headmaster. I went on to become a complete arse.
Right, let's move on. What was the first album you bought with your own money?
Ah.
When you say bought with your own money, if you buy something, I mean,
Well,
rather than
Your
say...
parents could have bought you it.
Yeah. Now,
Where you
What,
actually
so
went
didn't
into
have
the shop.
You didn't have the choice of what
Yeah.
you were getting?
this is slightly controversial because this was 3 albums I asked for on Christmas, knowing that my mum and dad bought. It wasn't really Father Christmas anymore. So, but my Christmas list was 3
How old
albums.
were you, like 25?
Again, no, I'd have been about 14, 15. Oh, we had the thing about the Christmas presents was I come from a family of 4, and so being the eldest, I wasn't allowed not to have it because we still pretended for my little brother that Father Christmas came. So I used to have to write a list and send it off. So my 3 albums, and one of which I brought along tonight.
Where is it?
It's over there.
Oh.
3 albums. One was the soundtrack to Easy Rider, which I think I might have just seen the film or heard about it. The other one was Green River by Creedence Clearwater Revival, which all 3 of these albums I'm really proud of. But I'm,
rightly so.
Yeah, but this is the one that I love and I still love to this day. This is still stands up. Let It Bleed.
Can I
of
see
course.
what songs are on it?
It's a classic. What does that
yeah.
say? Oh, the poster included.
Included. I don't know if that's still there. I mean,
Let's have a look.
I do have a look. I dug this out.
No.
No, I never looked after albums. Never looked after singles. Hence losing that.
Well, we took them for
You mean-
granted.
Yeah, we did.
Alright, you can have it in a minute. I just want to see if I recognise any of the songs. Give Me Shelter, Country. Oh yeah. Well, I suppose the most famous one that I would say on this is You Can't Always Get What You Want.
It's a classic.
Yeah, I mean, Gimme Shelter. I think is still.
And a nice
One
cake
there.
on the front.
Yeah, do you know who made that cake?
Now I do know who this is. Is it Delia Smith?
Correct, yeah.
Yes. And who did the cover album? Whose idea was that? Because that was
I don't
something
know.
else I came across. But yeah, Delia Smith.
Was Delia Smith around in 1971?
1969.
she was on the,
this is.
She was on the telly when I was
I
in about
actually-
1980.
I bought this album, of course. I also nicked a copy of this, which is in one of our other videos that we did, and got caught shoplifting with it 100 miles later. So I nicked it back home, and then the police got me in London.
Wow.
But I won't go into that
Back
again.
in-
I've already covered that on one episode.
Yes,
in the days,
and
the police were
he was
serious
clear
about it.
that he wasn't proud of it
But the
anymore.
I just realised that I didn't even know that Creedence Clearwater album. Never even heard of it.
No.
How
Can
about
I just
that?
check this table's not going to... It's all right, I don't want your teeth spilling over
And
your lap.
I did go and see the Easy Rider film
Yeah,
at the time, and I didn't realise Jack Nicholson's in it.
that's right. I don't think he was that
But
big a deal at the time.
You know,
was he?
Creedence. I'll just give you an interesting fun fact about Creedence Clearwaters. They had 5 number 2s, and I don't mean they went to the toilet and had 5 big dumps live on the telly. They actually had they had 5 singles in a row that only made number 2 in America.
Wow, didn't know that.
Yeah.
Can you name them?
I can name a couple of them probably.
Bad Moon Rising, Proud Mary.
Proud Mary.
Okay, that's the only 2 I know, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that'll do.
Right, first ever live show.
Again, this was. I can't remember the venue. I can remember it was in Ilford.
Ilford.
Sorry, Romford. Romford, and so I don't know the venue, but it was Black Sabbath. supported by a band called Kraken, who were the loudest thing I had ever heard up until that point, and possibly afterwards. It just shook every organ in my body. It was like that.
Did you enjoy it then?
Not really, not Kraken. Black Sabbath were great, but they were, a little bit, well, either my ears had gone by that time, and so, I was able to concentrate. But yeah, Black Sabbath were great.
I've been doing a little bit of digging, and Black Sabbath did indeed play in Romford. They played at the King's Head.
Ah.
Does that ring a bell?
Yes, well.
But as for Kraken, I don't think that was the band you saw.
Who was it?
From what I've been able to find, there was a band called... You sure it wasn't the Crankies? Because that's a gig I would have paid to see. Black Sabbath, Fanny Dabby Dabby Dozy. What a gig that would have been.
I would have loved that.
No, from what I've found, there is a support band, and it began with K. Get this name. They were called Cripple Vision.
You would have remembered that.
No, I mean...
The Kraken I found, they formed in the 80s. But it could have been another Kraken.
Okay.
But as for this Cripple Vision, one of them ended up in Kilburn and the High Roads. And do you know who's in that band? One of your heroes.
Give me a clue and make it a proper clue. I'm thinking right. Ian Jury.
Correct.
Oh my God, I knew something.
Well done. So there
I
you
saw
go.
Kilburn and the High Roads.
They
were supporting The Who.
Oh.
Incredible band.
I'm sorry, that's not on the list though, so you can't.
So I'll just.
No,
that's okay.
Really
See, this is the great thing about growing up in London. You get to see all these bands. All I ever got to see was David and Tony playing the fucking drums and the Bontempi organ in Campbell Working Men's Club. So you were lucky.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so it says here, would you identify? But I'm going to change that to did you identify as a teddy boy, mod, rocker, hippie, glam rocker, punk, heavy metal kid, goth, new romantic, or soul boy? There, you can read it if you've forgotten half.
Out of all of them, probably a hippie. But unfortunately, I'm not too proud to say that at the time, about 14, I was about 13, 14 growing up, I was more skinhead influenced.
Wow. I see you kept the same haircut.
I did.
That's
never got.
That's the young Brad. Look at him. He looks a bit like Liam out of One Direction there. Look at that.
Yeah,
handsome dude.
I'm a bit older in this one. This is after I came back from uni. But this is me as a young man that I could find. But yeah, hippie.
Very nice.
Certainly
You
hippie.
don't
By
look
the
like
time I was going to.
You look like a young American in that, but you don't look like any of those options. Here.
No. So early skinhead, but definitely hippie. Most of my adolescence.
So it was the clothes mainly when you say skinhead?
Skinhead was clothes, stay pressed, Levi's.
What about two-tone music, like ska?
No, not so much. It was reggae, ska, yeah, ska and reggae, but two-tone I don't think had come out at that time. The youth clubs were playing sort of Tamla, ska, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. It's
reggae.
And you made this question, I think, Johnny, but yeah, I went through all different things, even in the 70s and 80s. Like you say, Motown, ska, onto definitely new romantic. I thought I'd like to be punk, but I just couldn't stand the music, really.
No.
You know, the sort of Dead Kennedys and that.
No.
Hippie, yeah, tried that.
I remember at school when there was a classic, and again, this is the age thing, but in the playground, kids would come up to you and go, are you a mod or are you a rocker? And whichever one you said, if they agreed with, they'd be fine. But if they didn't, they'd punch you. So Ringo, I think, termed the phrase, I'm a mocker. And it was like, that's the way out. Yeah. That's my get out of jail card.
Right, very good. Let's see. Is there a song that you fell in love to?
This was hard, really, because it was like,
Never fallen in love.
Never fallen in love. Of course I have. I've married her. So I'm going to pick a song that was playing. I played a lot off of a Ry Cooder album. Paradise and Lunch. No, Chicken Skin Music. Sorry, Chicken Skin Music, and it's called He'll Have to Go. It's an old Jim Reeves song, I think. It's a lovely song, Tex-Mex, beautiful bit of music. And
does Rachel like it as well?
well, I played it a lot in the flat that we shared before we got together. So that's kind of.
Oh, I see.
But
Yes.
it kind of fits that.
So you didn't have to do much dating then if you were already living.
No, no dating.
Do you curse it now every time you hear it?
We actually play it in one of the bands I'm in. It's the song we play now.
I think my mother had the Jim Reeves. It's the put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
That's the one.
That Ronnie gig is somebody else I don't really know much about. I know he was muted to. He was on the shortlist to join the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Muted.
Yeah, muted.
Muted.
But him and Keith Richards didn't get along. Apparently.
No, apparently he taught Keith about the open tuning,
Yes.
and Keith still credits him with it. But I think Ry Cooder fell out with him because he didn't think he had enough credit
Oh, right.
for the sound.
He's American, isn't he?
Yeah.
What, and he was going to be in the Rolling Stone? I
But
had
he's
a
a big
video
influence.
of him off the telly singing Vigilante Man.
Oh yeah,
I used to
yeah,
watch it over and over again.
yeah. Yeah, he's
Fascinated
another
by
big musical influence.
In fact, I think he's probably on this album.
He probably is uncredited. Another gripe that I think he has with the Stones that he played on it and doesn't get a credit.
Ooh.
But no one did they?
No.
Nicky Hopkins and all those people played on it.
Well, to the other end of the scale of life, what song would you like to be played at your funeral?
Oh, this was really kind of hard to. It's hard to think. Well, what do I want to get from? Is it a favourite song that I want everyone to listen to?
Yeah, don't overthink it.
No, I didn't overthink it. But I don't know. I'm not sure of even the reason for it. But "Dimming of the Day" by Richard Thompson, but sung by Bonnie Raitt.
Yes.
Just
Don't
kind
they
of
do a
gets me.
duet of it sometimes?
I think Richard, he may have done. There might be a recording of that. I mean, he wrote it, I think.
Well, I think I can see why you chose that for a funeral, because it's
It's just a love
The-
word.
the words.
Yeah, title of it, but it's not terribly sad, but it's got that air of sadness
Yeah,
and
it's
melancholy
lovely,
about
yeah.
it. But it's a beautiful
I've
song.
never heard of it.
And Bonnie Raitt just does. I
Yes.
love Bonnie Raitt.
Yeah.
I don't know
her
much
version.
about her either.
Oh, she's great. Good choice. Who inspired you to pick up an instrument?
Well, this is my Uncle Ronnie, who.
Oh, does everyone have an uncle? Ronnie?
Well, everyone should have an Uncle Ronnie.
I've got an uncle Ronnie. Well, he's only just recently died in the past couple of years, but yeah, I've got an uncle. I had an uncle.
It's
Ronnie.
my mum's brother, and he was a bit younger, and he played drums, and he was on the local circuit. He lived in Walthamstow, so he played all those kind of pubs. The Standard that would have been one of his. That was just up the road. But he then later on he played in various cover bands that played around Chadwell Heath and Newbury Park and all that sort of thing. Which we, once I knew that he was a live musician.
Covers of what sort of song?
Oh,
Don't
whatever
tell me
was
roll out the barrel, knees up Mother Brow. That's what you cockneys do.
He'd do whatever was in the charts, actually. My earliest memory of him was seeing him in a rehearsal, and I think this is why I chose him, is that he was rehearsing with his covers band. They did a version of With a Little Help from My Friends, but it was the Joe Cocker version of it. And I just sat there listening to live music, probably for the first time, and absolutely being gobsmacked that people actually did this, because I'd only ever thought of music as being on record. You played music through records, and it was just a different experience. And I think I'm definitely sure that that's what made me think one day I'd love to play in some way. Not necessarily drums, although I aspire to be a drummer.
Never give up.
Never give up. But definitely my Uncle Ronnie, and I've got some photos of Uncle Ronnie. I'll send them over to Johnny, because
Nice.
he was like Jason. Do you remember Jason King?
I
Again,
remember
I'm
him.
looking at you.
No.
But Johnny would.
He was he a private detective?
Yes, private detective, but in the 70s he was like all these three-piece suits and a moustache that went down
It
here.
was like a Fu Manchu
Yeah.
moustache, wasn't it? He had a unique style.
A
He had
unique
like
style.
a afro type haircut.
Peter Wingard, I
Yeah,
think he's the actor. But my uncle Ronnie looked like him, modelled himself on him.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool. And he drove a pink Chevrolet.
Wow, nice
And
one.
he
In
drove
East
that.
Ham?
He drove.
Wow.
He lived in Walthamstow at the time, but he drove it down my road, and all my mates came out, and I actually got in, and it was just the best, one of the best moments ever. Pink Chevrolet.
Right.
Fully enough, we had a cream and pink car.
Yeah.
It was a Morris Oxford. Not quite as cool.
What has been your proudest musical moment?
Well, again, this is kind of. It was quite hard to think, but there's a few things. I mean, I've only just.
Try and stick to 3.
I'll choose one, but the one that I was thinking about was starting up Dial-In with the Persecuted, and that's still going now. So I hadn't really thought of that as a proud moment, but it is something to be proud of, especially these days when trying to get things off the ground.
So what is that? That's a music club.
Sorry, yes, a music club once a month.
Dial-In for music.
Dial-In for music.
And it's still going.
It's still going. It's still going.
In
this
fact,
Friday.
it's going this week,
This
isn't
Friday,
it?
this
And I
Friday.
believe it started at the Sir Alfred Hitchcock Hotel
It did start
in
with the Alfred
Leytonstone,
Hitchcock.
hence the name. Dial-In
Yes,
for
well
music.
done. We'll explain. But the one I'm going to choose is my 60th birthday, when all the bands I've ever been in played at my birthday party at the Ex-Servicemen's Club, and that's a poster my brother did for me.
Very
So
nice.
proud in the sense that was a moment, a very emotional moment, but still.
See, there was a guest band, Black Scar.
There was a guest band.
How old were you?
60. So
Wow.
that's my 60th, and everyone who I played with and are still playing with.
I remember admiring that you had a actual wardrobe on the stage because you had an outfit change for each act.
I was there. You know what stuck out in my mind, and I was very impressed with it. You had friends. Because if I'd have put that gig on, it would have been a one-man show.
Oh, I'm sure it wouldn't. But no, that was a very proud moment.
Good. Your favourite album artwork?
Once again, I was thinking, what shall I choose? But I think it has to be Sgt. Pepper's, only because it was such an amazing album. But I remember poring over the whole, not just the cover, spotting who the people are, and but inside I think there was a poster of the Beatles.
Well, there was all these little. How can you describe them? They were like cut-out things.
Yeah.
So-
It was kind of a whole concept thing,
Yeah.
wasn't it? It was possibly one of the first ever. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But it was magical. Who sticks out on that sleeve for you?
On the who sticks out?
Yeah.
Well, funny enough, there's a few people. The Maharishis on there, and I learnt meditation actually at university.
Because of that?
Yeah, kind of. Well, not. It was a friend of mine who learnt meditation, and then when and he started.
Is that why you're so calm all the time?
Yeah, possibly. I don't do it very often now, but obviously Marilyn Monroe. I mean,
Can I
There's all
say
sorts.
which ones I like?
Go on then.
yeah.
Marlon Brando.
Oh
Can't
yes,
find him now.
the wild one.
Well, I can't see it
He's
very
there
well.
somewhere.
No, but I can't see anything very well.
What about that gooch on the top row?
Bob
look?
Dylan.
Oh yeah, Dylan. So it was endless fun, just going through.
Endless.
It really is endless. I did a jigsaw of it recently. That was really fun.
Can I tell you who my favourite one is? Well, I like this little doll. Apparently that doll's supposed to be Shirley Temple, but the doll is wearing a sweater that says "Welcome to the Rolling Stones" on it.
Oh yes, yes.
And do you know the Rolling Stones had the Beatles on one of their sleeves?
No.
Yeah. Satanic Majesties. They're hidden in amongst the flowers.
I will
You'll have to have a look at
I'll
that.
have to have a
But
look.
my favourite person on here is Albert Stubbins.
Yeah.
He's here. Now, Albert Stubbins, he played for Newcastle United.
Why is he on it?
Well, funny enough, there's a funny. John Lennon, he did a solo album called Walls and Bridges, I think it was. Can you remember that? And on it, he did some paintings. It included a painting he did as a kid, and the painting was of the 1952 Cup final when Newcastle beat Arsenal. So that's another Newcastle connection.
Yeah.
And on it, I think he was painting the goal that they scored. I think they won 2-0 or something. And Jackie Milburn was on, who was number 9.
Yeah.
And Lennon was obsessed with the number 9.
Revolution number 9.
That's a track. And apparently, I don't know if this is true, maybe you can leave, if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, but he also lived in number 9 Newcastle something or other street or close or whatever. But yeah, so that's all very interesting. But I have got, I must tell you this, I've got a Sergeant Pepper and a Headmaster almost combined story that I'd like to tell you. The first time, I had a friend at school called Alan Beasley. I don't know what, I left school, never ever saw him again. I think he moved to Germany. I don't know why I think that. But I can remember his mother was very attractive, a lot younger than my mother was. And he said, I've got this new album, do you want to come round to my house? And we'll play it. Turned out to be Sergeant Pepper's, and I thought, fantastic. Seeing the lyrics and everything.
Yeah.
Anyway, we went on a school trip once to this country house. We stayed overnight, which was exciting, because the girls were staying as well. It was a mixed school. And then on the way back on the coach the next day, the people who owned the country house, they gave us a box of apples for the ride home. And me, Alan Beasley, and another kid called Ivan Ward, we were on the coach and we were being followed in the car behind by two teachers. And we thought, what a great idea it would be if we started throwing the apples out the window at their car. And so we're going down these country roads and we're lobbing these apples out, bouncing off the bonnet, bouncing off the windscreen. And then when we pulled into the school, they got straight out of the car, rushed onto the bus, grabbed us three, because we were the guilty people, sent us straight to the headmaster's office. Now, we were sat outside, because they then had to go and find the headmaster and tell him what had happened. So we were sat outside the headmaster's office, and about 15 seconds before the headmaster come round the corner, Alan Beasley farted. Now, we all know, see look, we all know there ain't nothing funnier in this world than a fart. Emma, you're very good. Some very melodic farts, Emma. In fact, she's like the George Chisholm of flatulence.
George Chisholm?
He used to play the... Anyway, the headmaster came round the corner and we're rolling about laughing. Incensed him straight away. Right. He unlocked his room, in. We went in. I'll never forget, he kept the cane in the corner in an umbrella stand. And he got the book out. You had to sign up. Did you ever cane anybody?
No.
Ah, it's one of the perks, surely. He had to have a book as well. I don't know if we had to sign the book or he signed it to say that he was going to whip us. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, so we're all standing there behind his desk. He's there getting the cane ready, got his book out, and he turns to me with his cane pointed and said, "What's so funny?" I said, "I don't know, sir." He pointed to Beasley and said, "What's so funny, boy?" He said, "I don't know, sir." Pointed to Ikey Ward and said, "What's so funny?" God, too traumatic. Ivan Ward said, "Beasley fluffed, sir." And off we went again. Hysterical laughter.
You said this was about a headmaster and...
Yeah, well,
this
Alan Beasley.
What's it got to do with...
Well, he was the one who introduced me to what's it. Anyway,
the
the headmaster was then that mad. He used to do this to get your hand up in position with a cane. Yeah. And then when he went to lift it, he got it caught in his telephone wire, and the phone just went all over the place. And I thought, today is the day I'm going to die. So that's why I get a little bit on edge when I hear Sergeant Pepper's and head teachers.
And the head teacher connections.
Right. Okay.
Oh dear.
Favourite all-time band or artist?
Well, I think we touched on this. I mean, it's obviously between the Beatles and the Stones. For my generation, it's the Beatles or the Stones. And I think the Stones edged it quite a while ago. And it certainly is now, you know, because they're still going and obviously So yeah, I would say the Rolling Stones are what they've been throughout my life. Really.
So you probably both agree with that.
Yeah,
you two?
Well, I do. So, have you seen them live?
Yes, I have.
Amazing.
Yeah.
A beautiful ticket,
Well,
though, isn't it?
I've seen them a few times, but the one I brought along is the Steel Wheels, because there's a little story, if you'll indulge me. Yes.
Come on.
So this was, I think it was at Wembley Stadium, and my friend Glenn Smith, known him since I was about 14. He was a road manager, and he managed Boomtown Rats,
Wow.
Van Morrison. He did all kinds of Status Quo. He was with Status Quo for a long, long time. So he had connections within the music business. Anyway, we said, oh, we want to go and see the Stones. He said, leave it to me. He said, I'll get the tickets. So we turned up at the stadium, and Glenn's sort of led us through, and he said, follow me, and we've all followed him. We're down on the floor and thinking, oh, this is all right, but we can't really see too much. And then we got to the sound stage, and he's gone, we're up here. So he actually got us onto the sound stage of that gig, where we had not only the best sound, but the best view. And there was about 20 other people on there, various actors and East End stars and things like this, hangers on. And I remember saying to Glenn on it as well, I said, oh, this doesn't get any better than this. It was beautiful summer's day, sunny. And just at that moment, one of the people on the sound stage, a woman tour manager, I guess, she's gone over to this case, and she's pulled up the case, and she's gone, anyone want a Stella beer? And I went, oh my God, this day just got
better. Did it
better.
have a toilet as well, though? Because I'm already thinking beer at the beginning of a gig.
We never thought about that.
We didn't have to in them days. He was younger, he had the bladder to cope.
This, I would have been quite old. I don't know when this tour was. This was not that long ago. So within the last 20 years, I suppose.
Did you know, being a Rolling Stones fan, they've got a new film out? Yeah, they have. It's a film called Welcome to Shepherd's Bush. In 1989, I think it was 89. Yeah, they did a secret concert at Shepherd's Bush Empire.
Yeah.
So it was a tiny little gig. I was there.
Right.
And they're releasing it, but they did like a premiere one night only film.
Yeah.
It was 30 quid. I thought, Jesus Christ, 30 quid. How much money do you need?
Yeah.
But I read that one's 30 quid as well.
Yeah, but I've seen them live.
Oh, what, this is a film?
Yeah, this is just a film.
What,
but I noticed it's not only a premiere now that they're releasing it. It's going to be on in View cinemas.
Right. Okay.
I think there's one.
But you've seen it anyway. You
Well,
were there.
yeah, but I'd like to go and see if I can see myself in the crowd. But it's not going to be 30 quid now. That's for the premiere. I think it's about 14 quid.
Yeah.
Since when
We'll
did
start saving up.
yes? Since when did live concerts suddenly become? I wanted to go and see ELO. They're doing their last gig next summer at Hyde Park, and the cheapest tickets £289.
Oh.
I'd want to be sat in that flying saucer above the stage for that.
Yeah.
289 quid. Jesus.
No, it has to be exceptional. I'm not sure I'd go and see anybody, but pay that sort of money to see anybody.
No, I wouldn't.
Right, we're coming up to the last couple of questions now, Brad.
Okay.
Thank you for your
hasn't it been
enthusiasm
fun?
and fashion. Not fashion, passion. And your fashion's nice
My
too.
passion and my fashion.
I was meant to say thank you for your passion. Have you got any precious bit of memorabilia you've brought for us?
I have, and once again, there's so many wonderful gigs.
You've got a big pile there.
I've got a big pile, but there's one
Oh,
ticket.
is that you, Brad? Let's have a look.
This was a fancy dress party. Yeah.
Ooh, look at him. He's like Johnny Depp.
Well,
Look.
I was actually trying to be Kenny Everett.
Oh,
Do you
yeah,
remember
you
Kenny
do look like him. Thank you
It's
very
all
much.
in the best possible
taste? That's
You do look a bit like him from the side. Look at that. Kenny Everett lives on.
And early man bun.
Oh, right.
An attempt at it.
Look at the chest hair.
I know. Look at that. I don't know where that's gone.
Oh.
Or that really. For that. No, but a musical memory. I went to see a guy called Ibrahim Ferrer, who's a Buena Vista Social Club singer.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
about 90-year-old. The Buena Vista Social Club film sort of documents how Ray
Cuban,
Cooder
isn't
got
it?
Cuban
Yeah.
music. All these Cuban musicians. And Ray Cooder found that Wim Wenders made the film, and they brought them all together and they made this album, and it went global, as you probably know. So Ibrahim Ferrer, at about 90, had this fame suddenly thrust upon him, and he was just such a lovely guy, and he was touring on his own with a couple of the other guys, and I think this was the Royal Albert Hall.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah, Royal Albert Hall. And the reason I've chosen it is because it was such a lovely gig, such a warm gig, and he was in his element. He didn't want to go off, you know. So they was practically dragging him off the stage. He was enjoying it so much. But the reason I've chosen it is because I went with my daughter Lucy, and it's one of the few times, one of the first times I've ever been to see music with Lucy. She absolutely loved it. So I'm going to pick that one.
Oh, nice.
I've never heard of him.
Well, he died sadly shortly after being
You didn't
90.
kill him, did you?
I didn't kill him. I think the fame might have killed him. But he finally got to tour as they all did for a little while and made the most of it. But you know, he didn't last too long after that, sadly.
Very nice. I mean, you've got a lot of other stuff there. You can quickly.
Yeah, I'll quickly. I went to Nashville.
Oh, that's Nashville, is it?
Johnny Cash Museum. Yeah.
So you've got an Essex badge there.
That I don't know why I brought that. I think it was just I played water polo for Essex.
Oh.
And
Jesus.
Dark horse.
well, I was a
You
competitive.
don't use the
swimmer.
horse for water polo, it would drown.
It's one of the dirtiest sports ever. You know,
Because the ref can't see what you're doing under the water.
everything. You know, elbows in the face, but also underneath the water.
It looks very Turkish, the old Essex crest.
It does, doesn't it? I don't know. They're skimiters.
So water polo, what is that exactly?
So it's a bit like, obviously throwing it with your hands, a bit like football, but 2 goals, 2 teams trying to get the ball in the net at the other end.
And you play for who?
I played for Essex, but I played for Plaistow United,
Oh, right.
who I used to swim with. And
Swimmers,
Plaistow were very, very successful swimming club and water polo club. But I don't know why I brought that.
We've got a nice Bruce Springsteen ticket.
Yeah, the Sega Sessions, still one of my favourite.
Where was that? Well, Wembley.
Or somewhere.
So I think it's come to nearly
got
time
one
to
more-
say thank you.
we've got one more
I know
question,
we
haven't
have. To say thank you for sharing
Yeah, it's
your
been an
musical
absolute pleasure.
history. We do have one more question, and it's not a question so much. It's would you like to recommend something you've discovered lately to our viewers in the musical world? Not just any old thing.
Well, this was literally, I think, last
Not a new pudding.
month. It's a place called Jamboree, and it's near King's Cross. A really cool venue, has all kinds of jazz, world music, all different kinds of stuff, blues. And I don't know, it just, it seems to have got everything
It
right.
has dancing as well.
Has
doesn't it?
dancing, encourages
Like,
dancing.
Cajun dancing.
Yeah.
I've been tempted to go.
Yes, actually, they run Saturday afternoon Cajun
Yeah,
dance
I didn't know
sessions.
you went there.
Yeah, I've only been once, but I would
What
definitely.
did you see?
It was. You put me on the spot now. It was
So
a jazz band.
Yeah. Well, actually, Jamboree used to be in Limehouse. They've moved to
really?
it's King's Cross now. Yeah, because we played there a couple of
Oh,
times,
yeah,
didn't
we
we?
did, didn't we?
Right.
It was a nice place then as well, a very
Yeah.
cool place. They had a resident painter, and there was a
Yeah.
big painting of us on the wall, wasn't there?
Yeah.
He did paint
Oh,
it.
yeah, no, he did, yeah. I've got a photo of it somewhere, but not the actual
I think
painting.
I've got the actual
Interesting.
painting.
But I've
There you
heard, but when it was there, it was a little bit out of the way. It was quite difficult to get to, and I think
Yeah.
that's in King's Cross. It's
It's still
it's
a little
doing a
bit
lot
out of the
better.
way, but it's much more convenient. But I would really recommend checking them out.
There you go.
For the dance, for the music. also
Jamboree,
some-
it's new and it's doing
Jamboree.
really well.
Yeah.
Before we go, Brad, thanks for coming, by the way. We were thinking, should we pay our guests? Emma said, well, we could give them 25 quid. I said, maybe 1,000. And then we both realised you'd feel insulted if we paid you, wouldn't you? So
I would feel insulted.
I got to
put
think
your money away.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
Put your money away.
I started to think, I grew up in the era of the crackerjack pencil, the Blue Peter badge.
It was simpler times.
Yeah, it was. At the Jim will Fix It medallion, but we won't mention that. So I thought, what better? And this is soon going to be the thing all the kids are going to want. We, Brad, would like to present you as the first guest with the Desert Island Dickhead fridge magnet.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
See, I haven't
am
even
so-
seen
Everyone
it.
hasn't even seen that.
That is...
Make sure it goes on the fridge because we will be coming round to your house.
Yes.
We won't tell you when.
This means so much more than £100,
Exactly.
£25. This is like the crackerjack pencil, isn't it? That is brilliant. No, I love that.
So you've been watching Desert Island Dickheads, and we'll see you again soon.